Budget 2023. I watched this episode of Newsfile. It was very insightful, actually. If you have the chance, go watch it. I mean, it's an hour long, but this part was crazy.
Refer to a statement.
Like,
Ken Ofori-Atta.
Sometimes you have to. A lot of the time we say that we want people to be honest. Like, tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. But then Charlie, the guy was too honest. Like, nah, this is too honest, bro.
Made the finance minister, when he appeared before the Central Committee, he said that there's something that every finance minister at this time of the hardship in everywhere should be saying to their citizens, that we are sorry. These are very difficult times, and we acknowledge the pain of the Ghanaian and everybody that we are all going through. And so this to put in context that it is not with pleasure that we will begin to introduce taxes in the difficult time. But unfortunately, where we are, we must begin to have a burden-sharing attitude at every level, including even the poor, so that we can all own the country.
Basically, what this man is saying is we are screwed. Basically, what he's saying is we've screwed up the economy, and now you are going to have to pay for it to be fixed. That's essentially what he has said, and that is essentially what the budget that was read on Friday highlighted. There was nothing more to it. And, I didn't find a lot of people talking about the budget because, obviously there was a Ghana match that was going on. And, we lost, but then that's just by the way. But it felt like Ghanaians already knew that nothing good was going to come out of the budget reading, so they didn't even really care much. Because, budget readings in the past, it does have a lot of, some level of traction sometimes. But then this part, nobody was really talking about it. I think it was after that people realized that, hey, Charlie, the VAT, they can't go up. And that has been the main topic of discussion by a lot of people. And with relation to the budget and my thoughts on the budget that was read, looking at the revenue side in relation to the increase of VAT, the VAT is not increasing to 15% as, we are being told. It's not actually 15% because you already pay 2.5, Get Fund and NHIL. And we also pay COVID levy as well. So that is all inclusive in the total, percentage. So it's not actually going to increase to 15%. It's actually going to increase to more than 15%. There's a consensus by economists that if your VAT percentage goes above 18%, there's a huge problem. And I listened to him speak, and it sounded like a lot of the time he was giving the excuse that, well, VAT is a refundable tax, so it's not going to be a problem for businesses. Businesses are not going to collapse. And even if that is going to be your excuse for us to the reasons why businesses are not going to collapse, a lot of the burden is going to fall on us, the normal people who go about and buy things on a daily basis. We are going to bear the burden. So it means this is actually going to affect us, the normal people, because businesses are going to transfer that burden onto us, and we are going to pay for it. It's going to hit our pockets a lot. And also they've reduced the e-levy to 1%, and they've taken off the 100 CD threshold. So essentially, they are going to charge e-levy on all levels of transaction that you make. I think Ghana has this thing where it's very weird. Ghana has this thing where they don't like listening to economists when they offer advice on the states of the nation. If they had listened, initially one of the main rebuttals to the e-levy was that a lot of people were saying that instead of paying 1.5, we should just pay 0.5, because there were a lot of studies that were done by these economists, and the consensus that 0.5 would be the best percentage. And they didn't listen. They did a 1.5. Now they are backtracking and they are releasing the threshold. The targets that they've put out there for the amounts that we are going to generate from the e-levy contributions, we are not actually going to meet it. So already it's not looking like we are going to meet our revenue targets. So before we even enter 2023, we are screwed. The expenditure side has to do more with the government. And that was where I was very interested in. I wanted to hear what the government was going to do in terms of cutting the cost. And it doesn't look like the government wants to bear a lot of the cost. Like I said, they are saying you are the one going to have to bear everything. So they are not, they're essentially not doing anything, because the costs that I hear them cutting on. They are not really major costs. I mean, I was hearing things like the use of V8 vehicles, cutting down on that, something relating to hampers and stuff like. I'm like, these aren't major cuts in the grand scheme of things. And if you are looking at very huge cuts, you are looking at things relating to cutting of the number of ministers and the deputy ministers, merging, some departments and ministries together and laying some of them off. Have your major cuts in relation to ongoing important or major projects. You can cut back on that by stopping some of these projects that are not needed, taking the hard decision to stop some of these projects. But they are not doing that. They didn't clearly specify some of the major projects that they are going to cut on. And if people don't push back on it and find out, it's just going to go under the rug like things always do in Ghana, and we never find out about them. Government is not fully playing their part in terms of reducing or cutting their expenditure overall, and we are the ones going to have to bear the burden. We are the ones going to have to suffer to come out of this. And it's looking like, I don't want to speak bad or predict anything bad for 2023, but it's not looking like 2023 will be the best year. It may probably be worse than this. I hope not, but then it's looking like it. They didn't even speak on anything relating to how they are going to solve the issue of the constant rise of the fuel prices. It seems like that they just want to wait for the Russia-Ukraine war to end or something and see whether things get back to normal. But it's not looking good. It's not looking good, and that's essentially what this man is saying. We then finish. They can't die. Essentially, the only thing I can say is, Charlie, we have each other. We have each other, Charlie. Dang. You're fucked.